morning. My name is Stephanie Aldrich, and I'm here to invite you all to attend Sundays After Today, where we'll be discussing next steps with PATH, People Acting Together in Howard. PATH is a grassroots organization based in Howard County that works to identify and address issues that would improve residents' day-to-day lives. It was founded over 20 years ago, including by one of our very own members sitting in the pews today, by faith-based organizations in Howard County, and is currently comprised of 13 such organizations. Since its founding, PATH has worked on issues like housing, green jobs, healthcare, and education, winning victories such as securing a commitment to 900 affordable homes in downtown Columbia in 2016, and passing new green building codes last year. And this year, PATH was actively involved in stopping a proposed ICE detention facility in Elkridge. In January of this year, 14 of you participated in the listening campaign that PATH conducted across Howard County. This listening campaign is the primary vehicle they use to identify to create its agenda and to focus its actions to shape legislation and upcoming state and local elections. So over the course of those two meetings in January, Channing members and friends shared their stories and their concerns. In our meeting today, we will be talking about how we move those concerns forward into action. So I encourage you to attend if you're able to. Thank you.
Into this place with your whole self, the parts that are raw and exposed, the part that is beaming with joy, the part that is seeking the truth, the new, the possibility. Come into this place, open your heart, lay down your burden, lift up your hope for something new to happen. Come into this place with fellow travelers on the journey, some faces new and others familiar, and all welcoming you here, now, to this moment. Come, let us worship together. I invite you to rise in body or spirit to join our voices in our opening hymn, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In, number 361 in the gray hymnal.
Thank you. Jack Stanton light our chalice, with words by Reverend Scott Taylor, inspired by and with use of the words of John Sharp. May this flame cast its light toward the coming days, reminding us that the future is not simply a place we are going, but a place we are creating. A new world is waiting, friends, not to be found, but to be built. May our time together light the way.
Would anyone like to come forward for our story for all ages? Hi. Good morning. Beep. Good morning. All right. I invite all of you to gather around as you hear a special story called Maybe, written by Kobe Amada, illustrated by Gabriella Baroque. Have you ever wondered why you are here? You are the only you there has ever been or ever will be. You have so much to offer. Maybe you will invent something that no one has ever seen before. Maybe you will build things that reach high into the sky. Your life is yours. Try as many things as you can try. See as much as you can see. Wherever you go, take your hopes, pack your dreams, and never forget, it is on journeys that discoveries are made. Maybe you will help others to see the beauty in each day. Or maybe you will lift cheering crowds onto their feet. Do everything with love. Follow your heart and see where it leads you. Maybe you are here to shine a light into places that have been dark for far too long. Maybe you will speak up for those who can't speak up for themselves. Maybe you are here to help in ways that only you can. There will be struggles, there will be fears, and it won't always be easy. At times, it will feel really hard, and you might make a mess of things. You might fall down. You may fail. But you will also get back up and you will rise a little stronger and a little taller. Because there is really more inside you than you know. And this world needs your gifts, your talents, your big ideas. And maybe you are just getting started. What if you are only scratching the surface of what you can do and who you can be? What if you have talents you haven't discovered yet? There is something powerful, even magical, about you. You already have everything it takes to do big things. Maybe you have no idea just how good you really can be. And maybe you don't know how much you matter. But maybe, just maybe, the world has been waiting for centuries for someone exactly like you. One thing is for sure, you are here. And because you are here, anything is possible. Thanks for listening. Please remain seated for our prayer hymn, number 123 in the gray hymnal, Spirit of Life. In the silence that follows the spoken prayer, you are invited to come forward and light a candle for any joys or concerns that you hold in your heart this morning. Spirit of love and life, source of all that is, in our inevitable trials and trepidations, when we feel lost or uprooted, when we find ourselves straying towards anger or greed, may we come to know what is true and what is false, what is genuine and what is a facade that seeks to protect us. May we remember that there is a still small voice within, waiting to call us back to our worthy and genuine selves, inherently good and inherently whole, rooted within us no matter how detached we may feel. May we know that deep within there is a true and authentic self, waiting to be named, to be honored, to be celebrated. A still small voice whispering within us, calling again and again, poised to guide us through whatever this finite life may offer us. May we be strengthened with fortitude, sustained by the enduring empathy and compassion held within, and they would meet the world with beauty, courage, and awe. May it be so, and amen. light a candle for the joys and concerns of those beloveds joining us virtually. And I light a candle for all else that we hold in our hearts and our minds this morning. If your heart is hurting, know that your community is here to help, as am I. Please reach out with any needs.
In the words of Eric Walker Wickstrom, as the ushers prepare to take this morning's offering, may each of us look into not just our wallets or our checkbooks to see how much we have with us. Let us also look into our hearts and see what is available there. How much love, how much generosity, how much faith, how much gratitude, how much hope, and let us take our offering from that account. For those of you watching the service online, you may contribute to a virtual offering plate using the donate button on our website or by mailing a check to the church office. I invite the ushers forward to receive the offering. I invite Jim Caldiero to introduce this month's special collection.
Thank you, Pam. I forgot my reading glasses this morning, so this may be a trombone. Good morning. I suspect that most of you, as were captivated as I was by the Artemis II crew, as they left the bounds of planet Earth, flew around the moon, and splashed down safely 2 days ago. During their journey against the vast darkness of space, we saw images of our blue boat home, a home we all share. For 85 years, Unitarian Universalist Service Committee has known that this blue boat is our only home. And UUSC has been at the forefront of advancing human rights worldwide to protect all of us in Haiti, Nicaragua, Rwanda, Darfur, Fiji, Alaska, Ukraine, saving thousands from Nazi terror, aiding asylees and refugees, protecting Pacific Islanders and Alaskan natives, who have to migrate because of climate change. Through a unique partnership model that lets people who are directly affected determine the best ways to overcome injustice. From Bangladesh and New Guinea to Poland and Honduras, UUSC provides resources to ensure that local community solutions become a reality. I am reminded of the day when the sky was falling in the jungle. As all the animals ran for cover, a little mouse perched herself on a rock with her feet towards the sky. An elephant running by stopped and asked the little mouse, "What are you doing?" "Run." And the little mouse squeakily replied, "I'm holding up the sky." The elephant answered, or said, "Silly mouse, you can't hold up the sky by yourself." The mouse answered, "Well, one does what one can, so please contribute what you can to advance justice for this war-torn and hurting blue boat home." Thank you.
For all that you give and all that you do for our church community and its wider concerns, we give thanks. Hear the words of Brene Brown. Authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. Love After Love by Derek Walcott. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, "Sit here, eat." You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. I invite you to rise in body or spirit to join our voices in hymn 1008 in the teal hymnal, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
Last month, my husband and I settled into a week-long silence meditation retreat, pausing in self and mind, body and spirit. With eyes closed and breath steady, intention ran deep. Each day, we joined meditation sessions, interspersed with yoga, Buddhist teachings, nature walks. The time was insightful and fulfilling, and the time was mentally and emotionally difficult. I sat poised for meditation sessions, and through those prolonged silences, my inner shadows began to emerge in poignant ways. How hard I am on myself, how I judge myself, how critical I am of myself. My mind wandered and meandered through these thoughts, and I felt as if I was a failure at the practice. I brought this lament to a learned teacher. She offered, Jane, start each session with a practice of loving kindness. I was to breathe in my anxieties, my insecurities, my seeming failures. She advised, breathe out love and compassion for exactly who you are. I brought this practice to my sessions, which became far more productive and fulfilling as I honored and appreciated just who I am. And upon coming home, I embodied this practice. With loving kindness, my imperfect self became more and more whole. Today is about cultivating wholeness by nurturing and celebrating our true and authentic self. Let us begin with a reflection of anthropology, a social science that can help us understand who we think we should be and why. One strand of anthropology is the study of culture. Each culture is shaped by language, environment, history, worldviews, offering unique norms and values. What is the beauty standard of a particular culture? What does success look like? What are our gender roles, and how do we construct hierarchies? Think of our culture, one that values thin bodies, white bodies, money, accolades, young age, maleness, heteronormativity, a college education. These norms shape so much of who we think we should be and why. What happens to our sense of self if we do not conform to or meet these expectations? We become steeped in an inner failure. We feel a veil of insecurity, or as if we are draped in the mantra of not good enough. We may face layers and layers of judgment, shame, and guilt, whether offered from ourselves or others. Transcendentalist Ralph Waldo Emerson's writings frequently reflect the sentiments that to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. This is particularly poignant in a culture that values conformity and holds members to often unrealistic expectations. And yet we must acknowledge that while there are many who have suffered with this, there are also those who have thrived, whose strengths align with those norms, who are inherently fulfilled. No one identity is wrong. One of life's greatest achievements is to become fully who you are. Each day, each experience, each lesson we learn contributes to cultivating greater insight into who we are at our core. But what does it mean to be whole, to be our authentic selves? Swiss psychiatrist and psychologist Carl Jung emphasized that being whole meant practicing a full and intentional integration of each and every part of ourselves, even that of which we would rather discard. Our full, authentic selves include shadows, those pieces we hide or deny. Our full self includes doubt, it includes contradiction. The woman whose impatience fills her days with frustration, the teenager who hides their insecurities through detailed vanity. Growth comes from acknowledging what we would rather hide. It is not complacency in the practice of self-improvement, for we can always learn, grow, and mature. It comes from compassionately engaging with those pieces of yourself you would prefer to discard through the lens of gentleness and love. Wholeness has nothing to do with being flawless. Wholeness means slowing and intentionally emerging from that cave you have created. It means meeting what you have uncovered with gentle honesty and compassion. Unveiling who we are requires us to shed the facades we have built. A historic story is told of a 5-ton solid gold Buddha statue created in the 13th century. With the threats of invading armies looming, the Buddha sculptors worked to protect this cherished piece of art. Carefully, they covered the invaluable gold with cheap clay. For nearly 200 years, the statue remained cast in clay, as those who knew of the treasure passed away. The statue was eventually moved. During the relocation, the clay began to chip away. What revealed itself had been hidden for centuries, solid gold. Monks diligently removed the casing, unveiling the treasure within. Since that time, the story has become a powerful spiritual metaphor with varying interpretations. The outer clay can represent facades, layers of facades created of identities we construct to protect ourselves from the outside world. Power, authority, pride. A facade that distances us from our true selves, something we witness nearly every day as our protective barriers can lead us to become mean, uncaring, aggressive, or selfish. We do this work to uncover the authentic beauty held within, diligently, just as the monks did, chipping away the facade, one stroke of the chisel at a time. We have innate worth. We have our true inner selves. How would you define authenticity? Professor and author Brene Brown wrote, "Authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are, chipping away at the clay to find gold." To me, Brown's definition elaborates on the vulnerability and courage it takes to be our full, authentic selves. We are vulnerable in not knowing how we will be received. We are courageous in not simply acknowledging, but celebrating our own true selves, ahead of myriad societal, familial, and personal norms and expectations. Questions inevitably linger on our minds. Will people resent the change? Will I be rejected, judged? Will there be repercussions? Ultimately, am I willing to face this in order to be my true self? When I was young, I amused myself by coming up with names for my future children: Claire, Lily, Charlie. As I grew older, my mom and I joyfully speculated about her nickname as a grandmother. In my 20s and early 30s, I began to shape my life with motherhood in mind. I met my beloved husband. I began a full-time job to help support our family. I moved into a neighborhood with abundant children. My husband and I began to plan for my mother to come live with us as support. Everything was aligning itself towards a life I had always assumed I would live. I was doing exactly what society was expecting of me. And then panic hit as doubts and trepidations flooded in. Without elaborating upon each apprehension or fear, I slowly and painfully came to realize that I was not meant for motherhood. And that began a years-long grieving process, shedding myself of the life I had always assumed I would live. The life I was, in many ways, expected to live. And slowly, with that grieving came acceptance. With acceptance came gratitude. And with gratitude became a welcome into this life of authenticity. I am living fully into my child-free life and feel gratitude for crafting this life for myself each day. I am fulfilled. The decision was both difficult and affirming. So there is a process in this transformation. There is an intentional and gradual uncovering of our authentic selves, and there is celebrating what we have found. Author and educator Parker Palmer wrote of this initial revelation, quote, "Before I can tell my life what I want to do with it, I must listen to my life telling me who I am." It is creating a space where you can quiet the deafening shouts of who we should be and instead embrace the whispers of truth. It means connecting with that still, small voice within. Our bodies know our truths. Instead of asserting a false self, we uncover authenticity, hidden under layers of falsehoods that we may not even know existed. Author and theologian Howard Thurman wrote of this second stage, the celebration, in an oft-paraphrased quote, "Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive, and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive." Authenticity need not be a withdrawal from the world, but a true and embodied gift to it. Have you ever met someone who engaged in their authenticity so much that they radiated, and all of their countercultural joy held as inspiration towards genuineness? The world does not need people to act as robots nor require endless money. The world needs wonder and awe and joy in abundance. Sufi wisdom tales often use the metaphor of a mask to differentiate between a false self and a true spiritual self. Sufi mystic and poet Rumi wrote, "Tear off the mask, your face is glorious." There are myriad interpretations of and stories related to this ancient teaching. Of the many, I offer one. A mask maker has many different masks he wears. He has one he dons when his goal is to be admired, one to appear strong, yet another to appear wise. He accumulates layers and layers of masks, one facade building upon the next. In the process, he forgets who he truly is, living into the myth of each mask. Who he saw in the mirror wasn't an enemy, but neither was it authentic. One by one, he peeled the masks away. Through this process, he learned that we do not find our true selves by adding layers of identities. We find our true selves when we remove what is false. We are called to return to our true, authentic selves. I share an excerpt from Derek Walcott's poem, Love After Love, which we heard earlier. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome. Give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Sit, feast on your life. The poem is about returning to one's full and authentic self after prolonged loss or prolonged heartbreak. It is about releasing yourself from numerous life-taking expectations bestowed upon you even by those you may love. It speaks of the ways that love or external expectations can take us away from our true selves and that slow and steady return to our core. Greet yourself at your own door, the poet offers. Return to yourself. Reconnect with just who you are after having drifted away. Reclaim your inner life, your own authentic and innate inner beauty. Love the stranger who was yourself. Our true selves can feel like an unknown if we have strayed too far, if we accommodated others by subduing our strengths or altering our values. Your true self is both familiar and forgotten, perhaps unrecognizable, but it is there, persistently awaiting you. It is waiting for that self-love that the poet held within his being. He encourages us to look at this self-love, an arguably enduring form of love, as we return to the stranger we know by heart. Feast on your life. Receive yourself with gratitude, with joy, with abundant welcome. The poem speaks of external love taking you away from self, and that innate discovery for the need to return to just who you are. Returning to authentic self is inherently a spiritual journey. It is a profound acknowledgement and acceptance that just who we are at our core is sacred and truly beautiful, imperfect and wonderfully unique. To be fully authentic celebrates our strengths and humbly realizes that everyone has weaknesses, embracing talent while acknowledging inherent imperfections. It is reminiscent of the self-criticism I struggled with on the retreat. We are called to return again and again to just who the Spirit intended us to be. This intentional and deeply revealing journey calls us into a deeper awareness of just who we are and allows us to see this innately flawed being as a true gift. It is to say, yes, I am inherently good and whole and loving, just as our faith has professed since our founding. We let go of that which serves to encumber us in our faith journey. We move with intention from outer expectations and norms and pressure and return instead to that forever inner whispering voice, the still small voice within, the murmur of the divine. So, offer yourself that love and kindness, meeting insecurities and doubts with a compassionate acceptance. Breathe. Integrate insecurity with compassion, anger with strength, impulsivity with empathy, knowing that an authentic self is not a perfect self, but an honest integration of all that is held within. Chip away at your forever life-taking facades that make a failed attempt at protection, and realize the treasure held within. Remove one mask at a time, peeling off a layer of authority, one of power, one of control, until the true and imperfect self is shown. Whoever you are, whatever your story, whatever mistakes you have made, find that voice within, listen to the whisper, and live. May it be so, and amen. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit to join us in hymn 131 in the gray hymnal, Love Will Guide Us.
It's
May we possess the vulnerability and the courage to follow the whisper within us, guiding us towards an enduring authenticity, imperfect and flawed, yet fully sacred and fully holy. May we gently chip away at the facades we have built, removing each mask with compassion, not judgment, trusting that beneath it all, we are enough. We are fully enough. This day and every day. Go in peace and amen.
There's a